Hello, this is Counterattack, and we are playing Burning Banners, Rage of the Witch Queen. Designer is Christopher Moeller. The publisher, Compass Games. Let's check it out. Alright, here's the map we'll be playing on. This is one of the main reasons I bought the game, is I thought the maps were beautiful. It comes with 4 maps, but this scenario only uses this one, and that's good because I can barely film it. It's a pretty big map. But we have this map out because the scenario we're going to play, and I really appreciate designers that give lots of scenarios. The scenario we're going to play, they call them campaigns actually, they're all campaigns. We're going to play campaign 3, the Great Goblin Raid. So real quick, the game, there's always 2 forces fighting each other. So even if there's many players, up to 6 players, they'll be divided into 2 forces of cooperating forces. So there's the goblins, they're the invaders, and Fjordland, they're the resistance. We can see all the other factions on the map are hostile to the goblins. Neutral settlements are welcoming to the resistance. We'll find out about that. This faction is hostile, this faction allied, okay? We can see the turn order. It's going to be a 6-turn game. And again, we're playing on one map here. That's what that says, the Broken Coast map. Fjordland sets up first. Goblins second. We can see some setup stuff, okay? I'm not going to show this on camera again, most likely, so I'll just show it ahead of time. So this is the season display. So it said in the instructions that Fjordland, and this is their symbol, this little rune, they have 8 income, so I've marked that. The scenario starts in spring of year 1, okay? And so basically seasons are used to like turns, okay? And we're going to play year 1, spring, summer, autumn, and then a winter intercession. We'll do that in year 2, and then we'll play spring in year 3, and then the campaign ends. That's why that's there. Within a season, the goblins will always go first. Fjordland will always go second. These are arcane study tiles. I was instructed to pick 2 that have runes on the back, 1 that doesn't, randomize them, put 2 here, the extra here. So we don't know where the one without a rune is. Okay. This marker here, in autumn, this gets put into that pool, and it doesn't have a rune. So that means 50% of those markers will not have runes every autumn. So the victory conditions are basically the goblins win at the end of any season where they control 2 loyal Fjordland settlements. Okay, so let's parse that out. So settlements are like villages, towns, forts, cities, though this map doesn't have a city as far as I can tell. And they have a gray border around them, and they all have like a little banner here. So this Seakirk place has this little banner, right? So that's a settlement, okay? As is Belgunaut here. Belgunaut has the crest of Fjordland, so that means it's a loyal settlement. Later, if Fjordland owned Seakirk, it wouldn't count as a loyal settlement to them. It's like a different people, right? Even if they control them. But this is like the people of the Fjordland live here. Okay? So the goblins have to get 2 of these and hold them to the end of a season, and they'll insta-win. The Fjordlanders win by preventing that. So I guess going the entire campaign without it happening. At the start of setup, and Fjordland sets up first, they're going to build units from their force pool at settlements they control, in or adjacent to them. Okay, and they'll have a cost in the upper left-hand corner. Okay, they'll have different traits. Now the rules also said for the scenario they get a randomly drawn hero. So we take one of these, and it is Thor. I don't think that's the god Thor. It's a guy named Thor, and we can see he has a movement of 6, and oops, that little star there indicates he is a spellcaster. Okay, so we'll just keep him there. We also would go through the hero deck and find Thor. Okay, we flip it over and we can see there's a reminder he's a spellcaster, and his name's Thor Jotunson, and he's got a special ability here, Sea King's Axe. Okay, so we'll just keep that off to the side, I guess, for the moment. So we want to place him. And I'm going to move this off map and just start using my money. Maybe I'll throw my money out here. This is the starting money. So I don't have to spend it all. I can save it for later. but I definitely want to get some units on the map. And I don't know the game well enough to have great strategies, and I don't want to explain all the rules up front so you understand what I'm thinking, but I'll give it a little bit. The goblins are going to build their units on these goblin icons up here. I don't know if those come through on the camera, but that's where they're going to build their units. But more commonly, you build units at settlements, right? And so if the goblins will want to grab some settlements, even if they're not the ones they need for victory, so they can build units there, right? So they'll be coming down, and normally mountains are quite slow to move through. Goblins move fast through mountains, so they're going to come down here. Also, you can move fast by sailing in the sea, in major rivers, if you start at a port. I mean, you can sail to any of those, but ports give you a boost of speed. So the goblins could get over to this settlement and come down here. So my thinking is, I want to get some units up to here, especially to block the mouth of this river, to prevent goblins sailing down the river. Okay, that's one thing. Then my two northernmost settlements here, I definitely want to protect them. They have forts. They're fortified. This is like a palisade. It's like a little stone fort, so they're considered fortified. But there's two settlements up here, and I want to try to prevent them from falling into the hands of the goblins. So sort of, the goblins do go first though, so that's a problem. So I think I'm going to build a couple of my cheap units. My units are not as cheap as the goblin units, so so these are not very good units. These are freeholders. So I'm building them in ports that I control. I could build right next to it as well, but I'd rather just build right inside. And so that is 2 gold and 2 gold there. Then, hoping the goblins can't capture the High Garden. Again, the little banner shows it's a settlement, and there's no, unlike here, there's no faction symbol, so it's neutral. So that means they're welcoming to me. So if the goblins get that, I want to prevent that. So on the outside chance they can't get it on their first turn, I'd like to get into here. But most of my units are slow. For example, this freeholder, if I built it here, I guess that could work. You can go 1, 2, because mountains cost 2 normally, 3 into the settlement. So actually I could do that. Okay, I was going to do something else, but that's what I was thinking. Says I want to get someone potentially into that settlement that costs 2 more. Oh yeah, so I have this unit called a ranger, and it has a special capability. It's written on my faction board here, and it's also written on my faction card here. So basically a ranger gets a bonus moving through woods. They can ignore the extra cost of woods, and they get a bonus for fighting, or I guess defending in woods or attacking into woods. Okay, so I'm going to build them adjacent to this settlement here. They're expensive, they're 4, but I think it's worth it so that they can try to defend around here, these woods. Okay, I think I'll build another one of those cheap guys, a freeholder here in Bjornfoss. Do I want it in Bjornfoss? Yeah, I want to protect Bjornfoss. And you know what? I'm going to build another one in Belgunot. So I'm just kind of spamming cheap units. So that's 4 more. So I have 4 coins left. I might as well put Thor down. So Thor's special ability here, it says treat light dice, that's for battling, in his stack as heavy dice while occupying a coastal hex. Okay, and armies do not stack, unlike in a lot of war games. Armies don't stack, but you may always put a hero with an army. So I'm going to put him here since he's going to probably be sailing with this unit, and so he'll more than likely be in a coastal hex. Maybe we'll put him on this one over here actually. And I think that's good enough. I don't think the goblins can get too far on the first turn. And so I'm going to save this $4 to use later. As part of our setup, we also draw up to our maximum number of spells, which is 3. There's a common spell deck, and we'll go over these later. And we draw up to our maximum number of blessings. These are like spells from the spell deck, but you see our runes on here. So these are faction-specific spells. So we'll grab that one and just check those out later. Okay, now for the goblins, and they will set up at the top edge of the board, yeah, and they get 25 gold. Wow, yeah, that's a lot. Let's get their randomly drawn hero. It is Siskar. Okay, we'll just throw it there for the second. Let's find Siskar. Okay, and Siskar is Kark's Troubadour. Okay, Kark, let's see, Kark is, so this is goblins, spawn of the trickster god Kark, plague the civilized world. Okay, so this guy's some kind of, whatever, musician that sings for Kark. Oh yeah, so yeah, he's a move of 4, is a spellcaster, and he has a reroll mechanic. So let's see what we're gonna build here. So we got a lot of money, and we only have 7 hexes to build on. So I don't want to build too much. So I think speed is of the essence for some of this. So I'll get some of my faster guys out. So that's, wow, these guys cost 1. Man, they're so cheap. So maybe we'll get a few of these speedsters here. Okay, so those guys cost 4. Okay, and then I guess while I'm at it, might as well build some big dogs here. So, one thing, this place here, it's a port and is fortified. So it's difficult to attack fortified locations. So we want to probably build a siege engine here. Yeah, something like that. So that costs 3 gold. I'm just getting some change. Okay, and then I wanted to build a big dog here. Maybe like this guy, this troll, costs 5. Yeah, buy a troll, throw him over here. And then maybe we'll buy a second troll. Is that what I want? Well, you know what? I'm gonna move this guy over here. Oh, never mind. That's not going to work for me. Yeah, so we'll do that. And then, yeah, we'll buy a second troll. So that's another 5. I think I did that right. I kind of swapped things around a little bit, but yeah. Oh, and then who's this guy going to go with? Well, he has a speed of 4, so I'll put him with someone that goes 4. I think we'll have him go with this guy here. Okay, then we got to get our spells. So draw 3 spells. We'll check those out later. And a blessing. This is a goblin blessing deck. Okay. I believe we are ready to go once I give the goblins their money back. All right. Okay, here we go. Turn 1. Here's the turn sequence. This is an excellent played. It's very good. So during the income phase right now, we can disband any siege engine we have. We have one, we don't want to disband it. There's some additional stuff. We are a Shashka kingdom. There's 2 kingdoms that are Shashka kingdoms. They're basically orcs and goblins, like you can imagine, like from Lord of the Rings style, you know. It says I can lay waste to any number of settlements I control, and I don't control any. Cool. Collect income. We don't get income. We are uncivilized. Even if we had settlements, we don't tax them to get income. And Shashka Kingdom, I must pay 1 gold for each control marker on the map, or I collapse. So what does that mean? So once I own a settlement, I'm going to have to pay gold to maintain it. If I can't pay for the settlements I have, game over. I'm out of the game. That sounds really harsh. So I have to be very careful when I get my first settlement and make sure I can protect it. Pay for it. So, because also if I don't have any settlements, game over as well. I'm exempt from that until I get my first settlement. And you might think, well, don't get a settlement, but you have to. You'll run out of money. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so we don't do anything this turn. So now we're going to start activating units. And you do it one at a time, so 1 unit at a time. And you can also build units. We'll see how this goes. Okay, I think we're going to start with this hill troll. Okay, his movement is 3. And normally, mountains or any other wilderness, woods and swamps, cost 2 to move through. So it'd be very slow to move through here. But the entire goblin faction, not only goblin creatures, but everything can go through mountains at a speed of 1. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Now we're adjacent to High Garden. And we're going to attack it, trying to take it. So what we want to do is look at how many dice we have here. These are dice, 2 heavy dice. These are 8-sided dice, and 1 white die, light die, which is 6-sided. So when we roll, we're trying to roll hits, and a 5 or greater is a hit. Okay, so that means 1/3 of this die is hits, and 50% or half of the faces of black die are hits. Additionally, black dice, if you roll a 7 or 8, the top 2 numbers, you can then roll to see if it's a critical hit. So you would roll another white die and you can get a second hit. So black dice are very powerful. So we're going to roll this. Now, normally you'd roll simultaneously, but I'm one person, and so it's too hard, and the dice all look the same. So this settlement fights back. By default, empty settlement that is not a city, and there's no cities on this map, gets 1 die. But since it's got this marker here, it's a mountainous settlement, gets a 2nd die. Here's the hill giant. Okay, so I got 2 hits and a 3rd that could be a critical hit. So I'm going to roll another white die, see if I get a success. I got a success. So these dice go together. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So I already know this is automatic win, but I'm just going to do this anyway. So the settlement got 1 hit. So we take that 4 hits minus the 1, that leaves 3 over. Those 3 hits go to the target. And that means we just need 1 hit on an empty settlement. So we captured it, okay? And the act of doing that, as we move into the settlement, we loot it. Most kingdoms get 2 gold when they loot, but this kingdom gets 3. That's another faction special ability. And we go ahead and put our control marker in this area. And when you attack a settlement, you must advance. If you win a battle against another army that's not in a settlement, it's an option to advance. So we'll just mark we control it. And as a reminder, we have to pay 1 gold at the start of each turn. So I'm going to rotate this guy 45 degrees. So he moved and then took an attack action. I should have mentioned, after moving, there's a bunch of actions you can take. One of them is attack. Okay? And so now he is spent for the rest of this turn. I actually didn't realize how easy that would be. That's a big deal, because now we can build units adjacent to the settlement. When you build in a settlement, a unit comes in ready, meaning it can move. But I'm occupying it right now. But when you build next to a settlement, it starts spent. So it would only be useful for next turn or to defend on the Fjordland turn. So anyway, let's go ahead and do another move. So I'm going to move this siege engine up 2 spaces adjacent to the Heinberg. Okay. Now it could attack. It doesn't attack with a black die, but I don't want it to get hit back by the settlement. It could lose. See this sort of torn page look on the side? That means this can only take 1 hit before it dies. Okay, so I don't want to lose it. And the reason I'm moving it up here, it's got a little siege reminder, that little red version of the tower symbol, is that when attacking a fortified settlement, your die roll gets a -1 on it. So if I rolled a 5, it doesn't count as a success. Right? 5s and 6s and above are successes. So if I rolled a 5, I would have to subtract 1 and it'd be 4, so it'd fail. This cancels out that fortress's ability. And I think I prefer to move it here, so 1, 2, okay. So next, let's move these guys. You know what? I think we're gonna move these guys. Yeah, they can go 4. So the leader has a movement and the guy underneath. So no one can ever move along more than their movement, right? So you pay attention to that, but I think they're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 down to here. And then as their action, they're gonna attack. When I attacked that other settlement, I kind of quickly did the battle, but there's actually a combat sequence. And so part of that is do battle magic. Both players may play magic cards using the following sequence. The attacker may play magic cards. The defender may play cantrips. So they have this symbol. So that's a magic card that, in some games a cantrip's like a quick firing spell, I guess. And then the attacker may play cantrips, okay? So my attacker, they are going to play a cantrip. And my reading of the rules is I can cast any spell. It's just the ones that specify cantrips must be cantrips. So this one's a cantrip. I'm going to use Blazing Hands. So catching what's this guy's name again? Siskar's hand, fires shooting out of Siskar's hands with this spell. So that gives him 2 white dice in addition to the 2 white dice of the unit underneath, okay? And this goes to the discard pile. So that'll be shuffled in winter, I believe. So this is gone for a long time. So let's go and roll for that attack. There's no -1s because of our siege weapon adjacent. There we go, we got 1 hit. Now the defender, they're not in a wilderness hex like that other one was, so they'll only get 1 white die. By the way, I'm looking at the cards for the Fjordlanders, and there's nothing appropriate for them to cast spells with right now. So that was a win. 1 hit versus no hits. So 1 hit goes through, hit it. Now imagine I rolled a 6, that would be a tie, and they would cancel each other out. Okay, so yeah, we must advance. Okay, we can put our control marker here. We get, I'm going to make some change here. We get 3 loot, so got 2 change back from that 5. Okay, and I'm not done with this guy. So these guys are spent and can't do anything else for the rest of the turn. But you may always cast spells and do other kinds of free actions. In fact, as I'm looting, I'm going to cast this blessing. When a goblin army loots a settlement, gain an additional 1d6 gold. So that gets discarded. See how much more gold we get? 5. All right, these guys have a lot of money. So we get the 5 there. And he's going to cast another spell. He's going to cast, he had a really good set of spells. So, by the way, this says, someone must cast it that is a caster. So he is. And it says, place caster's stack in any legal hex up to 2 hexes from its original position. It's kind of huge here, because if I build a unit in the Heinberg, which I could right now, it would have to go in the outskirts, which it would become spent, like this guy. But if I build a unit in the Heinberg, the unit can start moving. In fact, yeah, this might be OP. So yeah, so I cast a spell. He's going to teleport. Let me make sure I read that right. The caster's stack. So it's not just the caster, it's the teleport 2 spaces. So we'll go, I think I want to go like 1, 2. Do I want to be on the coast there? Yeah, that gives me some options, because I can attack Nordholm, or I can sail off down. I can sail across to this island even, right? So, wow, those are some nice spells to have. Now this guy here, he's going to go 1, 2, end his move, and then he's going to do a ship movement, okay, to cross a sea, coastal, major river hex sides, and enter major river hexes. Okay, so he's going to do a sea move and just cross over the river. Okay, so next turn, I'm going to have to mark him done. In fact, I should be marking everybody done that I've finished. So next turn he can attack Gorpin. Okay, next move. So one key thing here when you have this guy cast his teleport spell to get out of this recently captured settlement is that I can now build in that settlement and the unit built will not be spent. If you build in the settlement, it starts ready. If you build on the outskirts of the settlement, it starts spent. And so by evacuating that settlement, I can build right in there. So I'm going to build a Goblin Warrior that only costs 1 coin, and it can immediately move. So since it's ready, so this guy's going to go 1, 2, and then I guess 3, 4 into the woods. Attack Seakirk. He gets 2 dice. Gets 1 hit. And I'm looking at spells and stuff, like there's no spells worthy of casting. Here's Seakirk's roll. 0 hits, so the net is +1. Takes Seakirk. Gets 3 coins for looting it. Takes control. I feel like these guys are doing a lot better than I thought they were going to do. By moving him out of this settlement, it's now open again to have something built there. But I might as well move the guys at the top of the board, get them off of there first. I think we'll have this guy go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I guess he could make a C move over to here, but I think I just want him to stop here. This troll, it only moves 3. We'll just cruise down 3. Now, this is a lair, this little monster symbol. A monster lives in there. I can attack it, and if I kill the monster, I can get gold and a treasure. I'm kind of thinking in my current situation, I don't need to do that. If I fail to kill the monster, it ends up on the sort of under control of the opposing side. So we're just going to move there. This guy here, he's going to come 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the goblins, they have a ton of gold still, right? So I'm going to keep maybe like 8 in reserve, something like maybe I'll keep 7 in reserve. I'm going to need to pay at the start of my next turn for the settlements I've conquered, but I think I want to spend as much of this as I can. So these Goblin Warriors, they're so cheap. They just cost 1. I'm flush with cash. I'm going to spend 3 coins and just have one start here and go 1. You can always move through your own guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I could attack this ranger, but I think I'd rather gum up the area here, make him attack me. Okay, and then another one's going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and protect this town. I guess I can build one right here. Let me move the map up a little bit. So this town, I own it, so I can build at the town or the settlement, but I can't build in here and have him ready. So I can build here and he immediately gets spent. So I'm building a little wall around the town. I think I want to protect Highgarden over here. So I'm going to spend 6 gold and build a hobgoblin. So it costs 3. Just build it right there, protecting this flank of Highgarden, and I'll build another one right there. Because I have an opening up here, so I better build maybe one more hobgoblin. That's my last hobgoblin. So build one there. Then we got a little wall around Highgarden. I need 2 change. And I'm going to take 1 more gold and put it in my stockpile. So I have 8 in the stockpile still. But we'll build a goblin sneak. Okay, he's very weak, but he has a special ability ambush. So let's see, where do I want to build him? You know what? I think we're just going to build him right into this town, and then he's not going to do anything. I'll just leave him there. So I'm not going to always do this, but just to show you, the goblin's turn is over. Move this down. And then we grab their arcane study book. Okay, so this is the bad one. This is not a rune. So I guess I'll just throw that there. So we can see here, if there was a glyph, or it's a glyph, not a rune. If there's a glyph, I can study 3 different disciplines. If it's a churn, which that is, I can only study 1. So my magic's sort of fizzling. So what we do in arcane study is we're going to replenish our blessings, spells, and any treasures we have. So you get treasures from monsters, so that's not applicable. But normally, if I had I forget, it's called a rune or something, on this, I can do a treasure replenish, a spell replenish, and a blessing replenish. But since I got this churn, I can only pick one of them. So I can't pick the treasure. So I have to decide, do I want 1 blessing or draw up to my max hand of spells, which is 3. I currently have this spell, and you may always discard 1 thing. I think I'm going to discard this and draw up to 3 spells. And so now I can't get a blessing. If I had the other kind of token, I could have taken a blessing as well. There's the spells I drew, so just put those off to the side. Okay, now the goblin's turn is over, and it's the Fjordland's turn. I should point out that at the end of the activation phase, which is where we're moving all our units, if a Shashka kingdom, and goblins are a Shashka kingdom, has no settlements under its control, it collapses. And collapse just means it's removed from the game. That player's done forever. So I have a bunch though, right? I have three right now. Okay, Fjordland. It's their income phase. They actually have 4 coins in the bank, and they get an income of 8. It's on the income track. So there's the 8. I'm going to add to that. And if you're not sure what your income is, like if you bump the marker, you just count up all the settlements you control. So just to prove it, 1. Is that in the camera? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's their income. So now we're gonna start activating. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is I want another hero, so I'm gonna spend 2 gold. Check the price on your faction when you're playing, because the hero prices vary. So it's 2 here. So what do we have? We have a spellcaster, the speed of 4, Astrid. You can see who is Astrid. Okay, she looks tough. Okay, she has an ability. Astrid gains 1 black die if stacked with a freeholder army. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so I'm going to place Astrid with this freeholder, so that's appropriate. By the way, if this army here was already spent and I placed Astrid there, she would become spent. So she matches whatever the army is she's with. Okay, we're going to activate this army actually. So an interesting special rule for the Fjordlanders is they gain +2 to their sieve movement ratings, and they can do sieve movement in the middle of their normal move. Normally you do sieve movement after you move. These guys are sailors, they can do it anytime they want, so I'm going to do it in the middle of my move at the very beginning. So we're going to sea move, and we're starting at a port, so you can either sea move 3, or if you start at port 6, and then we get +2 for being who we are. So that's 8. So I think we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we moved right into Nordholm, which we can do. We don't have to attack it because they're welcoming. That was one of the scenario rules, is that neutral settlements are welcoming to us. And that means we can immediately take control of it. And we can't loot it, right, because they're joining us. But I'm moving our income marker up to the 9 level. Now I'm resuming my move. So I spent 0 movement points so far, so I think I'm going to come over here. Yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to attack. Let's keep that. Let's see, got to take my troop with me, right? But before I do that, let me just see if she wanted to cast a spell of any kind. Nope. Yeah, so she's going to attack. So we got a battle here. Let's see what we got. 2 white dice versus 2 white dice. So first, during a battle, attackers cast spells. A spell. I don't see any I want to cast initially. Is that true? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tap or lock Astrid. I'm going to use her ability. This is a cantrip, so it's kind of like a spell, right? So she's going to get a black die since she's stacked with a Fjordlander army. So to lock, we just mark it, like rotate it 90 degrees, and she can't unlock until a later phase. Okay, so she's got an extra black die. Okay, and then attackers can cast cantrips. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else I want to do. No. Okay, and then defenders cast cantrips. There's one. So I think we'll cast it. So this guy's going to cast Giant Strength. So it has to be cast. This can only be cast by a spellcaster. It has to be within 2 range of the leader. Well, it's 0 range. And it's going to convert 1 white die into a black die. So that spell's gone. So this unit here would have 2 white dice. It's replacing one with a black die. And then this one's like this, okay? I think we're good. So here's the attack. That's not very good, just 1 hit. And then the defense. No hits. Siskar. He's going to lock himself to re-roll a target d6. Okay? So he's going to re-roll that 1d6 he had, trying to cancel the hit of the other guy. Didn't succeed. I needed a 5 or 6. So this side did 1 hit, this side did 0. This guy takes a hit. And since he has a little tear on this side, we know he's dead. Okay. And I could have the leader take the hit instead, actually. The leader's probably going to die anyway, because if an army advances onto a leader, the leader's killed. So I'm just going to take the hit from the leader and let this guy survive. Okay, this leader is dead forever. Or this hero, I should call it. Okay, I'm going to continue my attacks there. I think I'm going to build a Sea Reaver. It costs 3, so Fjordland units are definitely more expensive than Goblin units. So built a Sea Reaver. Now check this out. I took Nordholm here, right? And I took control of it, so I can build this guy right here. Now normally, if an enemy unit is next to a settlement, that makes it besieged. And you cannot build at a besieged settlement. So that's a big thing to try to do, is get your units up against your enemy's settlement so they can't build at them. But this is a port, and ports require 2 enemy units next to them to be besieged. So I definitely want to clear this guy out of here so they don't get a second guy down here. So this guy's going to can only go 2. He's very slow. 1, 2. He's going to attack. I'm looking at the spells we have available. Not quite ready to do any. He has 2 white dice and a black die. No hits. Ooh, that's rough. And then the other guy, the defender, got 1 hit. Well, that's too bad. So this guy flips to his damage side. He has the same capabilities on his damage side. But he'll just take 1 more hit and die. So I guess I'm going to build 1 more of those guys. Let's see, what was it? It cost 3. So I'm down to 4 coins. Sea Reaver here, hop up here, attack. See if we can get him. Okay, the 2 whites missed, but I got a hit on the black. And since it's a 7 or 8, I can try to make it a critical hit. No critical hit, but I do have one hit. Here's the defenders. Cancelled. Okay, and I think we'll have this guy. He's going to do a C move first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Attack. Okay, so Thor Jotunson. He can treat one white die in his stack as a black while occupying a coastal hex. Well, he does. So that'd be a black and a white for these guys. And of course, these guys are 2 whites. I don't see any spells worthy of casting. Here's the attacker. Got 1 hit. Defender. Wow, that guy is somehow surviving there. Okay, next I think we're gonna have the Rangers here attack these goblins here. Okay, so when they attack, they get 2 white dice. Now, if they attacked the goblins in the woods, they would get an extra white die. But the goblins in the woods would get an extra white die for being in woods. So I think we're going to attack this guy just straight. But, well, yeah, let's see. So, during the battle magic phase of combat, I think we're going to cast this card, this blessing. So it says can only be cast during the battle magic phase. So it says, and it doesn't require a caster. There's no star on it like this one that requires a caster. So this one's just like the god or praying or something. So I have to discard a spell. So I'm going to discard blood magic, which if I cast from it would kill the caster, which I'm not too fired up about at this stage. So I did that. So now a Fjordland army gains 1 white die plus an additional 2 white dice if it occupies a wilderness hex. Okay, this is probably like overkill here, but I want to get an opening over to this town. Okay, so we're going to discard this, and while doing that, we have a living grimoire. So this is a spell that's a tome, and a tome must be played in conjunction with a spell. So I'm playing it in conjunction with the one spell I cast, and it says draw a spell and a blessing. So that's pretty awesome. Here's my blessing. It's a battle magic card, and my spell. Ooh, that looks juicy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and attack these goblins. Okay, we got 2 hits, and the goblins are gonna fight back. 0 hits. So if the goblins had also got 2 hits, which of course they didn't, we would just cancel each other out, right? But I have the ranged attribute here. Ranged breaks ties. A tie is when both sides have equal numbers of hits. The game makes a distinction between a tie and a draw. A draw is when both sides have 0 hits. So I killed this guy. So the question is, do I advance here or leave it open? And I think I do want to leave it open, though the terrain here is pretty awful. But oh, I can see it. I can see what I can do. Yeah. So again, you have to advance if you win a battle against a settlement. You don't have to advance if it's an army. Okay, this freeholder is going to go 1, 2, 3, and try to take Seakirk back. We get 2 dice, no hits. The settlement gets, well, the defender in the settlement gets 2 dice as well. So remember when I attacked a settlement, empty settlement, it gets 1 die. It has a garrison. But as soon as there's an army in there, you ignore the garrison. In other maps, there's also cities. They get 3 dice. And if there's an army in the city, they get to keep those 3 dice. So settlements do not. There's the attack back. 1 hit. So that's too bad. Okay. Okay, I see something I can do with one of my new spells. So, what's this person's name? Astrid. Astrid, even though she's spent, she can always cast spells still. So she's going to cast Ritual of Vigilance. If not in a settlement hex, caster's stack becomes ready. So we'll cast that spell. She's now ready. Okay, and then I'm going to activate her. I'm going to do a C move first. And she's just going to use that C move to hop across the river. Alternately, she could just go 1, 2, 3. So crossing a major river costs 2, and then the plains is 3. So I guess it doesn't really matter, but I guess we'll come across the river, and we're going to attack Seakirk. And let me remind myself what's up. Oh, it's just those guys. Remember she was able to convert gain a black die. Well, she's been locked, so she can't do it again. Got one hit. Let's see if these goblins can miss. One hit, so nothing. Okay, I feel like I'm in big trouble with these guys. So I guess we'll spend 2 of our 4 remaining gold to build a free holder. Now I'm looking at the map here. Like, man, I am in trouble. I'm probably not playing very well, and goblins are going to overrun everything. So this goblin on the coast here, on its next turn, can go 1, 2, 3. And it would do it at the end of its turn, though. And then the following turn, attack this place. So I guess I have 1 turn to not worry about that guy. So I was just trying to think, where should I go? So I guess I'll build a freeholder here in Bogunot. And the question is, do they just stay there? I think they do. And then I'm going to spend 2 more gold, my last gold, to build 1 more freeholder. And I think we're going to put it here. So I'm trying to protect Bogunot. This is tough because I have this place over here, this Bjornfoss. It is fortified though, but these guys can come down and attack it. So maybe it's okay, but man, so this guy, yeah. So this guy, he's just going to wait. He's just being a blocker. So all these, I'm not attacking with these guys. Wondering if that's not a good choice. I don't know. I guess this guy's done too. Fjordland's turn's over, and since the churn arcane study token was already taken, I know there's a rune in there. So that means I may discard up to 1 blessing. I don't have any. Wait, do I have a blessing right now? Oh, I do. I have this blessing. So I could discard this blessing optionally, and you can only have 1 blessing, so then take another one. I kind of like this for my ranger there, so we're going to keep that. We're going to keep that. And then I can discard up to one spell and then draw 3 spells. That's kind of a good spell to have. Oh, if I had a leader. Oh, within 4 hexes. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to just draw 2 more spells. You got Dust Devil and Tidal Shelter. Okay. Okay, so that ends spring of year 1. So now I'm going to take these arcane study markers and sort of randomize them a bit and throw them onto the turn sheet. I move the season to summer. I reset the player markers for who goes first and second. So I think that's it for turn 1. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. So if you do see errors in anything I did, please comment on them on the video, please. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for summer year 1.